Good morning. Today we are going to start with the subject jurisprudence. Okay. Juris means law and prudentia means science. Therefore, jurisprudence is a science of law. This subject is also called as legal theory. In this subject, what we are going to study? We are going to study Salmon, Kelson, Austin, HLA Hart. What these people are going to tell us? They are going to tell us about the origin of law, the concept of law, the definition of law, what are their viewpoints relating to law. Okay. Now, by those thinkers or by the ideas of those thinkers, what we will get the thorough knowledge, and that thorough knowledge will create better understanding of law, because we are going to understand from their viewpoint. We are going to criticize them also. So we will get the correct picture of the subject law. What is jurisprudence then? Jurisprudence is the eye of law. It is called like that. Jurisprudence is the eye of law. Jurisprudence is a grammar of law. Means as grammar is very much essential for language, similarly the study of jurisprudence is very much essential to understand the law. Difficult questions of law will be solved easily only if you are having the thorough knowledge of jurisprudence. Judges and lawyers who are not having the clear concepts of jurisprudence or the clear concept of law, what they are going to do, they are going to bungle up, they are going to misinterpret. Judges and lawyers are likely to bungle and lay down bad law if they do not have the proper grasp of jurisprudence. Therefore, jurisprudence is a very important subject. Therefore, it is called as a legal theory. Okay. Now, what is the aim of the jurisprudence? Jurisprudence is going to discover general principles underlying the legal enactments and judicial decisions. Therefore, when we study law, when we read any of the law, we should understand why the law is passed. We should understand the underlying principles behind that law. We should know the objective of the parliament, why the law is being passed, what is its objective, so as a judge, as a lawyer, you can interpret in a proper manner and give proper judgment or come to a proper conclusion. Therefore, study of jurisprudence is very essential. Therefore, the aim is what? Discovering general principles underlying legal enactments and judicial decision. Jurisprudence is going to speculate on processes of thought which takes place in the mind of legislators, judges and the lawyers. So we will consider the thoughts of different people, why they have done this, how they have done this, so we can interpret in a proper manner. Okay. Now, some people say that jurisprudence is an art. Okay. Now, why it is called? What is an art? First of all, an art is a specialized way of doing something. Some people say jurisprudence is an art. Now, why they call it as an art? Because it is the art of deciding cases also. Sometimes the legal aspects or the concepts or the facts in a particular case may be so complicated, but the judge who is having proper knowledge of jurisprudence, what he'll do? He will clear up the picture. He will properly give the judgment. Means it is his art. It is the art of deciding cases or advising the litigants or predicting the course of judicial and administrative action. Therefore, jurisprudence is an art. But mostly we call it as a science. What is science then? Science is a study of something significant, or you can say it is a systematic study of something significant, and jurisprudence is called as a science. Jurisprudence means science of law. A question always arises whether it is science or not, and we come to a conclusion that yes, it is a science because it is a systematic study. Though it is not a science like your physics and all. Proper prediction is not there, laboratory is not there, experiments cannot be taken like the pure science, but it is a social science. In the widest sense, it is a science of law. Therefore, I told you, juris means law and prudentia means what? Knowledge, or prudentia means science. Therefore, it is a science. Every social science is called as a social aspect, or sociology is also called as a science in one way. Biology is itself a science, physics is itself a science, but sociology, political science, economics, they are also some kind of systematic study. Therefore, they are science, and therefore jurisprudence is also a science. In the 17th century, we used to call each of the aspects as philosophy, and further we are calling that philosophy as a science. Same thing has occurred for our jurisprudence also. Now jurisprudence is called as a science. Jurisprudence is an organized body of knowledge about authoritative materials with which it is administered, the way it is administered, and how it may be administered, and how it ought to be administered. Means how the law is being made, how the law is being implemented, how the law should be, ought to be. Everything we are going to discuss about law in a systematic manner. Therefore, jurisprudence can be called as a science. Now we have to see whether what is the study of, what is the subject matter of jurisprudence. Law and law alone. It is concerned, jurisprudence is concerned with the genesis, the growth, the function, and the end of law. Here the word end means what? Objective. The end of positive law. Positive law means the laws which are made by human beings, the law which have been made by us for the society, to control the society, to govern the relationship in the society. Therefore, it is called as a positive law. So, what is subject matter? Law and law alone. It is concerned with the genesis, growth, function, and the objective, that is the end of positive law. It is function of jurists to study fundamental principles on which law is based. We have to study the fundamental principles on which the law is based, because if you study that, then only you can interpret the law in a proper manner, and interpretation is very important. Otherwise, if you misinterpret, then the objective of law will not be achieved. There will be injustice everywhere. Therefore, we should have proper grasp of jurisprudence. Okay. Now, for us, what is jurisprudence? Means what is a modern jurisprudence, or what we are going to do. For us, what is jurisprudence? It is the accumulated wisdom of the great thinkers of the past. What I told you, Salmon will say certain thing, Austin will say certain things, Kelson, Hart, Montesquieu, Savigny, Rusquieu-Pont, many will come and they will tell certain things, certain aspects relating to law. Means we are going to study all of them. So for us, what is jurisprudence? It is the accumulated wisdom of great thinkers of the past. So what we are going to do then, means what we, in the sense, the modern jurisprudence, what it is going to do? It is going to dig into the historical past and attempts to create a garden out of the chaos of the conflicting legal system. Means many things are there which will tell us what this is law, this is law, this is law. We should know what exactly the law is, what are its objectives, how the law is made, how the law should be interpreted. We should go in a proper track. So the modern jurisprudence is going to dig into the historical past, and with the help of that, what we are going to do? We are going to remove the chaos which is there. Got it? And we are going to create a garden out of the chaos of the conflicting legal system. This is the objective of jurisprudence. One statement is there that for the scope of jurisprudence of Radcliffe, what he says, you can't learn law by just learning law. If you want to learn law, you just can't learn it by just, you cannot understand it just by learning law. You have to understand many things. Means you should have a proper grasp of sociology, economics, political science, everything, administration, everything you should know. Then only you can understand the concept of law properly. We cannot, as in the words of Radcliffe, we cannot learn law by learning law. If it is to be anything more than just a technique, it is to be so much more than itself a part of history, economics, and sociology and ethics and many more. Therefore, to understand jurisprudence, we have to understand everything, every facets which are connected for the society or which are connected to the human beings, because law is made by human beings for the human beings. Okay, today we have just taken an introduction of jurisprudence. We will see the further aspects in the further videos. Okay, bye bye. See you.